All right, go ahead.
Coach, you guys had air on both sides of the ball on Saturday, but it's like you got the defense, enough defense when you needed it. You got enough offense when you needed it. What do you think that says about this team?
I feel good about how we came out in that game. Going to that game and kind of tying it all together is we scored on our three first possessions of that game. Came out really nice, and defense got the first turnover of the game to put us in position, and then we had air, and it was like we kind of started beating ourselves a little bit in some of our drives and some of the things we were doing. But we were consistent enough to play a really good football team. Uh, the way we did, even with the air. So I'm pleased that we're making progress, and the fact that I know we got the confidence. I think that there's a sense that they're going to win. It's just how they're going to win, and now it becomes that consistency thing we've always talked about in here. We've got to clean up those spurts of air that happened to us, whether it's offense, defense, or even special teams the other day when we missed that field goal. So it's that little bit of a we got to clean that part of it out. The deeper you get in November, the more games in November, the more you got to clean up those things. But they are starting to play well as a football team together, and I think that's what says the most of what I've seen the most in the past few weeks.
How much of them playing better as we get later in the season is them getting experience? As you mentioned how much they lack game experience in the past, and how much of that is, as you said, figuring out how to put them in positions to succeed.
And I think that's all of it. I mean, that's a huge part of it, particularly on defense. I mean, we're very good sometimes, and then we have this spurt of air, which is when you go back and watch the film, they're playing fast, they're hitting, they're doing what we're asking them to do, and they're playing with the energy you need to play with, but they're not communicating in that recognition right out of the gate, and that creates somebody not on the same page as the other 10 or 9 guys. So that comes from experience. So for somebody to control everybody on the field, you need a commander in chief, if you will, on that field, making some voice uh, type adjustments to us, and they're getting better at it. We just are just missing those quick times when they go out there. But same way on offense. Offense, it was, you got Jaden Ellis back. That helped to have him back the other day. It was nice to see Ty back again, but we're still getting through the injuries on that side of the ball, being that we had lost, our tight end in Lane. So it's kind of a mix and match, and they just got to get the whole group back together and get that. That's part of the consistency on that side.
When you speak about the communication on defense, you mentioned in the post game with Tate Sander going down, that was a big element that provoked some of that.
Well,
Well, any idea on Tate being able to return?
do not know about Tate as of today. I thought he was going to play that full game. It actually happened in the previous game, and we thought that he would be ready to play, and he went out there to play. But then early in the quarter, he gets pulled out. So right now with we're thin. At the end of the day, we're thin, and the guys out there are great, but we are thin. And you lose a guy Tate, then it becomes another domino effect of, well, let's move him here and move this guy over here. Edwin went down on the particular hit as well, but we got him back fortunately in that game. But that was going to be a huge scramble at that time when he went down to move some guys around. So it is what it is. We're prepared for it. We get some guys back. Belkin is starting to come back now. He's not quite 100%, but we just need to get our defensive group back on the field healthy, and then we can start keep building with what we're doing.
Given what Lane's injury is, do you guys have a decent timetable on his return?
Really don't. He'll be back. I mean, it's that's more one of those that came off surgery, so that was more the healing process of going through that than it is the injury itself. So when you call it an injury, it's just kind of a Mother Nature type deal. So I don't know exact timeline on him, and I know he wants to get back, and we want him back as soon as we can get him. But Mother Nature is going to make that call.
Looking at the defense, Corey Thomas has had an interception the past 2 weeks. There was some error on his part after the interception on Saturday, but him stepping up and making those impact plays, how big has that been for the defense?
Well, it's huge. He's playing fast, and man, the position you play, he was up against. That was number two. Two is good, man. That guy's a real deal. I mean, he look at the tough catches he's made. Now, if you go back and watch the film, I knew him more than you guys did because they didn't start really playing him till about 3 weeks ago. But since that time they started playing him, he's making some tough contested catches and right there in the sideline, over the top, pulling him in, double-handed. I mean, that guy's elite. He's a great player, and we had him. He did a good job defending the slant and go on him, and probably did as good as anybody in the league has against that move. And he was there. He just held right there at the end, and that was an official's call. So I know I was called, but at the same time, it was a tight fit, and he was going to make a nice play. At the intercept was a really nice play. So he's starting to play faster because he's more confident in playing our defense. We're more confident in playing our defense. So, and the position he plays, yeah, they're going to go after him, and you're exposed out there because it's like a kicker. Everybody's going to see the error that you make because you're out there on an island.
How about Amari goes over 100 yards again? Had to earn it, 30 carries. But you had mentioned a week ago, now it's just about being able to do it again, and he did it.
He did it again. He did, and he was out a couple series. We got Ty in there. Ty just wasn't back to full speed. I mean, I could see that. We could have played through Ty, but I didn't. Just watching him, I didn't think he was up to full capacity yet. And because he will definitely be a factor in all this when it's all said and done. But what Amari did was run hard, just like he did the other week. He's pushing the pile. I think he had 20 yards after contact this game. The previous game, he had 80 yards after first initial contact. And that's 100 yards of offense after first initial hit. And when you're doing that, you're doing some good things, and you're also, you're breathing life into a lot of other players around you for that extra effort. And that, goes into, he wasn't a part of those catches, but I'm telling you what, the catch by Sergio, the catches by Dez, the catches by Wolf, I mean, all those are, to me, second effort, great effort type moves to keep the chains moving, and that's why we're having success, is making those kind of plays.
What do you credit that to? Because everyone has the desire to get those yards after contract. Wanting to do it and actually doing it are two different things. What do you credit that to?
He plays with good balance. He's a strong athlete. We've had him on defense. I've had him for a year and a half, 2 years on defense, and he's a strong athlete. He's got great low center of gravity. He's playing. If he stays determined like he is and stays healthy, and everything's, it's obvious, but he's got great balance and great strength, and he's got speed. And what we probably didn't really recognize is he's got good vision. He's making the quick cut, getting vertical again. He's doing those types of things, and those are instinctive. You can see they're all instinctive for him. He's only been there 2 weeks.
When you needed it, Noah Pettinger came up big with the punt on Saturday. He's having a really nice season, maybe kind of quietly, probably not to you, but I think half of his punts have been inside the 20. The numbers are pretty big in terms of average. How important, people kind of forget the third phase. How important do you think he's been?
Oh, it's early phase. It's those hidden yards, and he's got the hidden yards right now because his punts have been excellent. They've getting hang time. They've been fair caught, and like you said, they're inside the 20. They got to drive the field on us, and anytime you make somebody drive the field, it helps in play calling and helps how you play defense, and it gives you, if you're playing good defense, you give the ball back more for your offense. Everything dominoes off a good punt return, a good kickoff field position is everything. And the wind played a factor in that game a little bit too. When you being there, that early on it was windy, and you had to pick and choose. You made choices by which way you're going on the field of punting, kicking, throwing, everything, even playing defense. What do you want to play against the wind versus with the wind? So when you get the kicking game, that all becomes a huge factor in it to add on to that. Noah's doing a nice job, really nice job.
The execution of the hands team wasn't pretty on the onside kick. Yeah.
We got out of bounds. It was our ball when it was over, wasn't it?
It ended up working out for you guys, but it wasn't the prettiest. Is that going to be an area of focus at all in practice this week?
That thing took a nice kick. I mean, it was rolling. There was a nice hop to it, and they flattened us out, which was fine. It was a nice kick. We were in position. but man, it hit and it took off on that last hop. I mean, that's the thing about onside kicks, man, is when they roll and on different surfaces are different kicks and it always comes out different. That thing hit just right and it popped at there, and we had one guy that you could probably say was out of position, but he was going after it on the short roll, and then it took that big kick, and they had a chance for it, but they missed it for all the same reasons we missed it, because it looked like it was going to be somewhere around the numbers, and then it took that pop and it went all the way to the sideline. But we will visit that. Let's put it that way. I don't know how much you can practice it, because we practiced it. We practiced it last week and the week before, and every time we kick it in here, it comes out different too, man. You get a high hop and it's an easy catch, and then it's like Dell got and he takes off with it, or sometimes you get that nasty one and it's a crapshoot. So you guys got to be in position, and you got to go make a play. But it's the craziness of the onside kick. We've had enough of those. I've had more onside kicks this year than probably in the last 10 years. All right, I think every game's been an onside kick. So yeah, we will visit that and practice that. Don't know if it'll help, but we'll practice it because it comes out different.
Looking at Western, team that's winless on the year, you faced a team like that in Indiana State already, and it was a close game. What do you see out of them on their next?
You know, I saw they took Illinois State the whole game. You know, I was watching Western versus Illinois State to get ready for Illinois State, and it's surprising that when you got in there and you're looking at scores that wasn't a game you were going to study. But I studied that game a lot for the Illinois State game because of what Western Illinois was doing to Illinois State. So it is as good a team as anybody on any given Saturday, and so that's why we just have to keep the shovel out, in my opinion, and keep digging our way out of this and not worry about what's going on around us, and just keep your head down and keep digging and not worry about all the other stuff right now. Because as I said weeks ago, this will all shake out. You know, every week is going to turn out different in this league because of who plays who and how our league is set up. So I'm not concerned about the big picture. It's more about this week to stay grounded in what we're doing and get better this week. Anybody else?
It's the last matchup against Western Illinois before they move to the OVC. Is there any sentimentality there when you've seen a foe that many times and they're leaving the conference?
You know, they've been in the conference since I've been at UNI, meaning since '85. They were in the original 4-man Gateway football conference. So this is a big move for them. It's a big move for our league, and it's definitely a factor in the University of Northern Iowa because of the distance. That trip is not that far away. That's like an in-state game for both of us. And when you start talking budgets and travel, that's a big deal for everybody. And that is a game that we do not want to lose. I will schedule that game as much as they want to play that game, only because of travels, budgets, and things like that, because that will factor into the bigger picture. It's kind of like Noah's kick. Nobody's going to know about it until you're behind the scenes and they're not on the schedule, and you put in somebody from the East Coast, West Coast, or down south, and all of a sudden that budget changes because of that one game was taken off the schedule and replaced by another. So that's a game we need on our schedule. I hope they feel the same way about they need on their schedule for budget purposes, but at the same time, it's two different leagues. So, and that's always been a great game down there, up here. They've had some great players over all the years and some very good teams. And then how it plays out is above us, but at the same time, Western brought a lot to the Missouri Valley. Anybody else?